Am I audible? Hello? Hello? Hello, Yashwant, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think we need to wait. Should I start the class or not? I'll just wait for sir.
Hello?
Sir, I think the students are joining.
Yes, okay.
All right. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes, you are able to see this.
Okay. Yeah. Since you can see my screen, so I wanted to show you. This is your syllabus. So you have block 1, block 2, 3, 4, and 5 blocks. So in these, okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Everyone is wishing me good afternoon. Uh, I hope you all are doing fine. So before we start the class, I wanted to show you all the syllabus of HRM, Human Resource Management. So these are the blocks that you have. You have 5 blocks, and we have 10 classes, right? Every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So 2 days we will be having classes. So in these 10 classes, we have to finish all the 5 blocks. That is, every block has 4 units. So there's a lot, the theory comprises a lot of, subheadings and
Hello,
all that.
ma'am. Your signal strength is a little bit weak. I think so.
Huh?
Your signal strength is little bit weak.
No, it is fine here.
Now it's okay.
Okay. Okay, so today we are going to start with the first block. I think this is moving, I guess. Yes, so we'll be starting with the first block, and in the first block you have 4 units. Okay. So we'll start with, so here are the 4 units that we will be finishing today. So starting with the unit 1, that is human resource management. you will be learning in human resource management just the basic introduction of it. So the introduction of human resource management that you'll be starting with. So let us first understand what is HRM. So HRM is a management process comprising planning, organizing, leading, and controlling that is concerned with procurement, compensation, development, and integration of human resource of an organization with the aim of achieving the objectives such as individual satisfaction, organizational productivity, and societal welfare. So basically, HRM over here, what you will be learning is it's like thinking about only people. You know, you're considering people in the organization. It is because in the organization, there is a structure, there are rules, there are regulations, there are policies that are framed, but without no people, there is absolutely no organization, right? So in order to have people and being very considerate about the people is very important. So we as an organization, we have to think about their people, their satisfaction, their development, their training skills, and the holistic approach that we need to provide for the people. So this is HRM. Let us understand the evolution of HRM. So the first evolution of HRM is the period of awakening, that is from 1770 to 1900. So in this period of awakening, what happened was they were only thinking from business aspect, only from the business point of view. So their goal was to only aspire how to, increase their business, how to increase this, industry standards. And they would recruit however labor, whatever labor that was, over there, because they would think that exploiting workers or just showing them the bonuses or, the money package would be the only standard that is viable to start a business. So that was the first evolution of HRM. And also in this period of awakening, towards the end, Robert Owen was the one who, came about with this attention that let us not think humans as machines and let us think on the personal management perspective, that is in terms of environment, in terms of mutual benefits, and also the benefits of employees. So that is when the second period started, that is the period of awareness. In this period, every scholars, all the businesses, all the industries have realized that the only focus that we need to have is on the development of people, right? Only if you develop people, that is, you will end up getting the most skillful people. And the most skillful people will make the standards of industry grow better. So that was the realization. And how they concentrated on the development of people, that is to maintain a lot of peace at work, efficiency should be improved, and the mental revolution of both employers and employees should be working towards and teaching them and how to be more reliable. In this period of awareness, also we have learned that there were many scholars, that is James Hartness, and so many psychologists who had come in and who had brought in the work that is the human factor, a human cause, a human benefits that should be come into the management. So did you see the progress just from the first period itself, where they focused on the industry? In the second period, they were more aware of focusing on the human aspect of the organization. And then in the third one, the period of analysis, here they focused more on better communication and better managerial skills. That is the social systems. So in this humanity of production, they wanted to focus more on the formation of the organization, how to reduce the cost of production, and how to have a proper balance between, the sentiments of the people as well. So this was the period of analysis, analyzing the problems, analyzing what is the better course of action, what is the proper balance of things between machines and people, how to have better communication amongst the people. So all this was their analysis in the third period. So these were the three most important evolution of HRM. But let us also see the evolution of HRM that can be traced in two significant phases, that is before and after independence. So that is according to our Indian context, before independence and after independence, right? So before independence, that is, during the first World War and all that. So there was a lot of labor movement and very slow progress, and the interest of the workers were very less. The conditions of the workers was more of suffering, more of fighting for who's going to be in the organization for with all possible reasons. So these were the working conditions that was getting very, very bad, it was deteriorating in the organizations. And also that the private organizations like the Tata Mills and all that, they took interest in the safety and the problems of the workers, looking at the very horrible conditions of the workers in the organizations. So in the Indian context, also we learned before independence that there were several organizations, as you can see in my slide, the Bombay Mills, all these organizations, they were bound to ensure that they would be working along with the government for the labor welfare. And after independence, of course, there was a lot of progression that was happening according to the Indian context. There were Bombay, Calcutta, all these mills, all these acts that was come up for the training of the business management with the personal management and industrial relations as one area of specialization. So you can see, after the independence, so during the 80s, during the 90s, yeah, so during the 80s and 90s, let me keep checking on. If you see that there is a lot of unstable internet, so just let me know. Yeah, so during these times, there was a lot of societies, there are a lot of movements, that is the American Society for Personal Administration, uh, human resource management. All these scholars came up with so many collaborations with the management, with the unions, only to ensure that there should be value for the customers. So there are a lot of approaches that were emerged: industrial relations, labor welfare, all these acts and welfare programs were brought into light, and they wanted to consider for the value of customers. Then in the 2000, definitely in the 2000, there was a lot of progress, there was a lot of achievements, interventions, and a lot of goals with the business organizations, that apart from growing the business, they should also grow with the information giving to the employees and the communication. And from there, the journey continued for providing for the people, and developing the system for the people and representing the development of the people. So everything was handled, be it with the resources or be it with effectiveness, because of the efficiency of the people in the end. So that was HRM, and what is HRM and the evolution of HRM. Both, there is the general context and the Indian context, that we have learned that how HRM progressed over the years, and how their mindset was only with one basic thing, that is to reap benefits and profits in the organization. From that standards to analyzing and restructuring their organization to the better, for the betterment of the people. Then coming to the objectives of HRM, let us understand the objectives. So the first objective of HRM is the societal level objectives. So what do we learn in the societal level objectives is societal level. I think the word itself describes that we will be only thinking from the societal point of view. That is, what do we generate from the society point of view? In the society, we need to give a lot of standard of living, employee benefits, and that is what was the main objective of human resource management, to give a lot of peace and contribution towards economic development, developing the human capital, a lot of learning capital, developing the functions of human resource management, societal capital, that is the relationship between the workers, trustworthy, the trust that you gain from the customers, the emotional part, that is, when the employees have no idea about working, how to, give them a lot of training benefits, coaching, mentoring them, and then the career management as well. So this was the societal level objectives, and also societal level objectives contributed on the national income, it contributed on the economy, like we have already spoken about. And then In the next phase of objectives, after these societal objectives, comes the organization level objectives. So in these objectives, organizational level, so societal level is what? Thinking for the society, that is regarding the peace, the development, employment opportunities, all these phases that you have to contribute your business towards. The next contribution, the next objective that the business should contribute is towards their organizational point of view. So, from their organizational point of view, the industries should ensure that the organization has sufficient budget in terms of giving compensation to the employees. And that is the main objective of the HR manager. And the HR managers should also see that the resources are not, going waste. And they should train the employee to an extent that they should take this job as a challenging process, and they should not be wasting, and they should actively utilize the resources. And yeah, so pretty much that. So procurement, compensation, development, integration is the keywords that you can use for this. And then the third one is the individual level objectives. Because thinking from the organization point of view and the society point of view, you should also think about where you are, where your career is going, and where you see yourself in the organization, whether your skills are being developed or your skills are being utilized in the organization in terms of rewards. That is, if you're putting in a lot of hard work, is the rewards getting benefited, right? So are they giving you rewards? Are they having a good reward programs? And your career development, are you being, mentored well, coached well? So that is the basic progression of a very competent employee. And then the democracy, the freedom, right? The freedom to participate and not being biased towards only a particular group or an individual, or even contributing your ideas into the plan of action should also be a necessary factors. So we know how HRM started. We know how we have to think on the on the basis of people and the evolution and the objectives. Coming, the next one is the next topic is the characteristics of HRM. So the first characteristics of HRM is the social process, that what HRM actually gives, to the people at work, and what is the helpful factor that HRM actually provides. So if you have HRM in your organization, a proper HR resource, a proper HR department that is functioning, it is always a boost because it emphasizes on the importance of maintaining a relationship, maintaining a link between the organization and the individual, right? So the individual likes to work only when the organization is keeping him happy, satisfied, giving him a potential to work, or the reason or the encouragement to foster development, teamwork standards. Then you have a staff or the service activity. So it facilitates the growth and development of various departments by assisting the managers in improving the motivation of employees and persuasive process. So the basic characteristics of HRM is not only to focus on, the social aspects and the grooming aspects. So 24 hours when you've been told that you have to work or you have to increase productivity at work, every time you're being told that, it is not beneficial. Also, you should make sure that you need to realize a person's motivating factor, right? What motivates him, what triggers him to work, what are the programs that triggers him to work? Is there talent or growth or development or reward, intrinsic, extrinsic rewards? So what is that thing that you have to realize? That is the basic characteristics. And also to be very persuasive. There is every superior, supervisor, your superior needs to realize that your subordinates is making efforts and you have to enhance their efforts. The next characteristics that we learn is the art, because HRM is definitely the art of designing the social skills, designing the conceptual areas, the manpower, recruiting, training, conflict resolution, disciplining, wages and incentives, administration, and retirement. So there is a lot more things to consider human resource management also, because it also considers to develop your human skills, develop your emotional intelligence, interpersonal skills, all this encouraging your aspects, your performance to increase and to achieve results. Also, that it is an interdisciplinary science, because we also feel that HRM is a science as well as an art. As an art, we have seen it has, all those things that you can see on my slide, and it's also a science because it contributes in the field of economics and behavioral sciences. There is a sociology, psychology, and anthropology and politics. It also, because when you think about the society, you have to think about the entire external environment of the society, right? The political, the pestle analysis, basically. So when you think about all those things, everything boils down to the people's management. So it becomes the art as well as the science. The next characteristics is it is a continuous process, and it is definitely a profession. HRM is just not an word or something that has been derived out of nowhere, and you just learn it in one of your phrases. It is not like that. It is definitely a profession. It has to be there in every organization, and if it is there in every organization, it should be all the time working. It should not be that HR is only a field or it's only a department and it comes once in a year. It does not come once in a year. It keeps working, right? It keeps working for the benefit of the employment payroll, performance ratings every year in terms of recruiting people, if there are vacancies, selection process, the entire thing. So there's a lot of, it's like a circle, you have to keep working and you have to keep started from the planning to coordinating. You have to keep doing that in HR. And the characteristics of HR is also that it has an approach of hard and soft approach. Hard and soft approach is in terms of values and in terms of integration. So the close integration of human resource policies with business strategies, which regards employees as a source to be managed in the same rational way as any other resource being exploited for maximum return. So in contrast, the value assets are also the source of competition. So it's a source of competition and it's a source of business strategy as well. And that is why it is also strategic in nature, because HRM, you cannot plan a business expansion without thinking about employee recruitments, the number, the skills, the commitment, and the budget. So the basic strategy that you need to have is the decision making in order to incorporate HRM. Next, so after we started with the evolution, the objectives, and the characteristics, now we move on to the scope of HRM. So we need to be a little, we have to be a little faster. We just stuck in unit 1. So the scope of HRM, what do you see? The scope is like, what is the basic ability? What is the basic utilization that you have all over? The utilization of HRM is a lot. Basically, there's a lot of scope of HRM in the market, in the organizations, in terms of salaries, wages, functions, dividing the functions, sub-functions. It's significantly used as a value, as a procurement and compensation benefits. So when these things are there, there's definitely higher scope of HRM. Next, you have the importance of HRM. Let's see how HRM is important to all of us. So it is important for resources as well, because it helps to plan, because the first objective, the first characteristics of HRM was planning, right? So it helps us to plan the resources. It helps in the integration of people, like we have already studied in the previous slides, that how well it integrates people in terms of their skills, development, cultural aspects as well, the value that the HR gives to an expected role. And it also fosters synergic teamwork. That is, it is very important for people to engage in teamwork, because in HR, you can see the development starts with the teamwork, coordination, team building, and team effectiveness is very important. So basically, the overall climate that fosters, that HRM fosters. The next importance is it develops talent for competitive advantage because it is thriving. It is a strategic HRM and it strives for strategic planning. So it definitely wants to grow and build in the opportunities and promote work culture and contributes good performance with its success in terms of no negativity or only high commitment in the organization, diversity that it contributes in the aspects of work culture, global, basically the global place effectiveness. So this was the most holistic learning perspective of HRM, also fulfilling the obligation. So whenever you set up an organization, you set up a business, you require HR process, and in that HR process, uh, you have to ensure that you need to consider the legal requirements as well, the government and the legal requirements, the political requirements, and the ethical standards. There is no harassment at work, no exploitation of members. There should not be any discrimination at work. The decision making should be effectively being done by everyone. So this is the ethical standards, that is the human dignity that is maintained in the organization, which definitely stimulates technology adoption and change because of this diversity and ethical culture that you create in the HR system. Yeah. So it also stimulates the technology front because people, the organization thrive for better technological advances, innovations that should respond to the society and for the benefits of the people. Employment cycle and key process areas of HRM. This is the employment cycle where you learn about the same thing, the procurement that we learned about, the present and the future, that the manpower, basically, the job design and the analysis. We will be learning particularly about job designing and the specifications of it in the fourth unit. So you analyzing the job specifications are also a very enriching methods of this employment cycle. So basically the procurement, like I told you, that it's all about people. So you have to ensure recruitment and selection process is done with a lot of importance in terms of having written tests, getting the cream crowd, getting the best of the candidates on board. So you need to ensure that the cream crowd is being evaluated thoroughly in terms of their skills and knowledge. So onboarding is how you are hiring them and they are adjusting with your organizational standards, and how the co-workers and everyone are working and arranging, and the paperwork and basically socialization. Compensation is definitely about wages and salaries. We will not be working even in the most best of the environment when there is absolutely no pay, right? So the HR should also think about the employment cycle will not be completed without the compensation, because this is the area where actually is the best motivating factor for the employee. So thinking in terms of equitable employment structure, no discrimination in terms of wage and salary should be there. Intense incentive schemes should be given to the employees. The more we work hard, the more there is better reward system. So we work hard better, right? So we increase production. So that should be there. And welfare, health, and safety. We don't want to work in an environment where anything can happen to us or there's a lot of danger in it. So there should be a proper transport or education, a lot of health benefits also. The quality of life should be good at work. And then you have development cycle also, where you have human resource management, which is engaged in the work. And there is a lot of formal opportunities and ongoing, informal opportunities, that is coaching, mentoring, and goal setting and communication. So this is like the whole development procedure that you are concentrating for the employment cycle. And then comes the integration and there is the communication discipline and the structure that you give, the grievance cell that you provide, the collective bargaining and the workers' participation, the conflict resolutions that you have. So, what is the difference between HRM and personal management? So, basically, personal management, like we've seen in the evolution, that came first because that is a very short term and this is a long term. Personal management is, you know, everything to do with the management, how to reduce cost and all that. But over here in HRM, we learned about how we are maximizing profits with the skill development of the employee as well. What is HRM and HRD? HRM and HRD is human resource development, where HRM focuses on the improving the efficiency, but HRD focuses on the development of the efficiency, where you improve the satisfaction, but here you improve the performance. And there's a lot of changing role of HR manager. What is the changing role of HR manager? Is you have to be progressing, you have to keep up with the trends of the HR. That is the changing role of HR management. And back in the 90s, the manager would or the CEO would only think about the insurance or the basic staff and the line and the coordinating role. But right now they're more thinking on the mediator, the counselor, the peacemaker. Like I told you, the holistic approach that the HR management manager should have towards the employees, towards his subordinates, and ensuring definitely about the optimization of human resource, utilization of human resources. So that is the changing roles of a manager, where you are also considering the technology adaptability, the capability, the conscious role of ethical practices that has to be done in the organization. So that was unit 1. So it was very basic. And unit 2 is also very, very small. So unit 2 will be learning about organizational structure and HR policies. Very basic. We learn about organizing HRM, the positions, the HR policies, considering and developing HR policies and evaluating HR policies. So the easy way of learning this subject is understanding, if you would have a business, if you would have had a business, and because we are all MBA students, what would we do? What is the ethical, the moral principles, the structural, strategic principles that we actually want to bring about in the organization? So in that way, you can learn the unit 1. And unit 2 is, how do we adapt these structures? Now, how do we evaluate, adapt, and consider these HR policies to a better standards, right? So in that way you think. So HRM function was used to be performed by the owner or workers manager earlier. So however, with the increase in the size of the organization and employment, appointing a specialist has become a statutory obligation. So in the course of time, with the advent of very large, so basically with the large scale organization, you will be thinking about more challenges, more consistency in decision making, right? So that is basically what is we'll be learning. So the positions and rules in the organization. So the positions of HRM. So what is the basic structure of HRM? We learned what is HR, all HRD and personal management, the growth, evolution, basic characteristics. But then who all work in the HR unit? Who all comprises? What are the positions of them? So there is HR generalists, specialists, HR heads, managers, executive personnel, director, general manager. So all this, the chart that you can see on my screen, the advisors are there, so all these people, the IR advisors, so all these people hold a very, very important position in the HR. So what are the factors that is influencing these positions and statuses? So what are those factors? That is the size of the business. Depending on the size of the business, you take those many positions and those many specialists, and the nature of the business as well. And then the philosophy of senior manager, global presence. If your organization is a lot in the global market as well, into a lot of export and import. So what is the structure that you provide? So basically, from the first position, so many positions are there, depending on the size and depending on the global structure, the HR structure, the senior management, how old your organization is, how your organization is growing to a larger scale. Depending on that, you will be requiring those many positions. So, what is the basic role of a HR manager? So, basic role of an HR manager is, the administrative expert. He should be a leader and he should be a strategic partner. He should be able to involve himself as a line manager as well, implementing the policy standards as well. There is in formulating policies in terms of culture, in terms of acceptance of employee standards, implementing their problems, all these things that he should focus on in formulating policies, the union policies, external influences, all these things that he have to make amendments. After formulating policies, his role is also in drafting those policies as well. How does he draft the policies in terms of using simple and clear words, not using difficult words, like how in this class is going in simple words, like I'm not using the most impossible terminologies where you will be thinking this is a dry subject. Or so there should be something which is a commitment that you give towards the subject. So there's the same commitment that an HR manager should give. Rather than just talking, he should also be able to put that into action in drafting those policies and focusing on the benefits, the acceptance of the culture and all that. So in formulating policies, so he needs to again evaluate those policies. After formulating and drafting those policies, he should evaluate. Evaluate is what now that I've framed all these ideas, all these policies that have to go on board, but whether it is viable, whether it is falling in benefits of both ways, that is employees and organization and also the society as well. So you have to evaluate in terms of irregular and review as well. See, it is very easy, unit 2. That is the basic thing that you have to do. Coming to unit 3. Now, unit 3, we learn about HRM environment and trends. So basically, what is the recent trends that the HR should keep up with the recent 2023 trends from the pandemic? What are the trends that have been coming? And then the HR environment, the internal and external environment, of course, the pestle analysis that I have already spoken about. You've been learning about it in almost in all the subjects. So basically, what is the business? And you will learn about different changes that happens in the organization in terms of internal and external aspect. Right? Yeah. So business environment comprises of these forces that influence your environment, that influence your business, and the necessary changes that you need to make, the drastic changes that you have to make in terms of creative, employee retention, benchmark, what are the emerging process. So what is the impact of business environment on HRM? So why are we learning this business environment, these forces that we'll be learning? Because it will affect on the business, and if it affects on the business, it will clearly affect on the HR policies. And the HR policies should keep up with the changing needs and the trends to ensure that they are the business is capable enough to face all the factors that is causing problematic, or the areas that is creating a lot of problematic thing for internal and environmental process. So let us see the first process, right? The external process, the political environment. So the political environment means that you have to keep your business on par with the political issues and your business issues, without your business not falling into the pitfalls of all the legal disputes that they haven't been, following. So that is one of the important strategic initiatives, right? So that is the political initiatives, the legal disputes that you have to see, the political forms. Social factors, again, the culture, the diversity, taking in account the care, the health benefits of the society, the child care benefits, the goals, working towards global warming. Then the technology aspect is increase the technological development, innovations, approaches, and activities, right? And the economic environment is how to increase your economic development, how to increase your economy with efficient efficiency and non-financial efficiency as well. That is recruiting your staff, giving them a lot of employment opportunities, and the influence of internal environment. The influence of internal environment factors is internally, internally, what that you need to make your business stronger. That is, you have to make effective functions in terms of your mission, strategy, structure, policy, systems, and culture. So what is the impact of trends in external environmental factors? So basically, what are the impact of trends that it has on these environment? So in political, you have a lot of liberalization, political, legal, environmental, that refers to the encouragement of imports and exports. You know, somebody has just muted. The HRM practices. So these are the why the business have to be considering the political factors is because the political factors gives a lot of practice of HRM in terms of liberalization, encouraging imports and exports, philosophy, the competition, the national competition, the foreign companies, right? Privatization, globalization as well. So social culture gives a completely new lead to the diversity, to the new generation, the gender mainstreaming, the technological factors, that is giving a lot of growth to networking, computerization, outsourcing, continuous improvement in technological factors, that is the re-engineering as well. And economic factors also, you are able to combat the HRMP, management is able to combat and minimize the effects of rumors and ensure the individuals are kept informed with the factual data. And they should also not be dealing with the actually of customization. There is the talent management, how is the talent management working so that they should not have fall short of the talent, and the jobs should be valued. So what is the impact of internal as well? The internal is because of the mission, vision, all these things that we've just stated, it gives us a lot of empowerment. Statement that is necessary to encourage the employees to work with our culture. And it also prepares us, because having a strategy in our business will definitely help us to identify the company's skills and the recruiting and the training procedure as well. Giving a proper structure to the business helps us to increase our communication levels and being accountable as well. And the policies, systems, culture will help us to have the excellence way of life. So basically, this is the system approach to HRM. The system approach is how to be systematically have a managerial process that takes employees as inputs and transforms them to create productive human resource as outputs. Basically that. So these are the factors that you have to consider in order to make a system approach to HRM. That is the sales, quality, satisfaction, competition, distribution, advertising, and sales promotion. So if you have these factors, then you are able to influence well, and you're able to make a good analysis. So coming to the last segment, that is the trends in HRM practices. These are the basic trends. I'm trying to mute. I think somebody has Yashwant is doing. I'm muting you now. The trends in HRM practices is to be able to fulfill the needs of the employees and empower them and think of their well-being, basically. So with this, you have to always understand that the HR trends and practices that you have to outline is the outcome mindset, is to process your mindset, analyze based decisions, global leadership, and shift in jobs. That is the support of technology, global leaders, capital intensive. All these things should be considered in order to have the multi um, um, skilled employees. And then you have to shape the students as employees as well. You have to make sure that you have to play in their area in terms of their careers, um, their failures as well, and also to continuously involve in the skill development. That is, how do we ensure that your skill is being developed, right? So even with us, like, we'll always be thinking about what are the extra courses that we have to learn in order to provide a better knowledge, to provide a better structure, right? Talent was and employee experiences as well. So how to seek the employee's journey, how the company's HR will have to have hands on the technological tools. They should not have these age-old, rigid people who are not flexible, and they don't understand how to develop an app or to progress in the overall experiences. So you need to also have a lot of trends in HRM practices in terms of having flexible work environment, online time learning, community focuses as well. All right. So this was also easy. Now coming to the last unit, I think just another 10 more minutes and I'm sure that we are done with the class, but then just give me 10 more minutes and we'll be done with the fourth unit as well. Coming to the HRP, today's the fourth unit, there is human resource planning. Here we'll learn about job analysis, job design, like I told you, need for job redesign, and what is HRP. HRM dealing with the planning, right? So everything is about planning the magnificent structure, managers, talented, better compensation, if job effective, attractiveness, how to design their jobs effectively. So the first thing is the job analysis. What is the job analysis? It is the collection of their various tasks and duties and responsibilities, right? So what a person does and what he does in the regular basis, that what are his everyday tasks that is given to him, duties and responsibilities. So according to one of the definition, Edwin B. Flippon, it is a process of studying and collecting information related to the operations and responsibilities of a specific job. The immediate products of this analysis are job description and job specifications. This is job analysis. So the objective of job analysis is, you'll be able to analyze the jobs better. You're able to remove all these unnecessary elements of the job, and you're able to focus on the performance of that one particular job, right? Be it administrative job or training and development, recruitment job. So be it with all these jobs, you're able to figure out what are their daily tasks and duties of that particular job. So after you understanding what are their daily duties and tasks that they have to do, so users becomes important. Like, this particular job improves in compensation, this particular job improves in performance appraisal, it improves in health and safety, it modifies the training and development. So all these things that you concentrate on, right? The process of job analysis, this is the process that is to know the need for the job analysis, define the purpose of the job, select the representative positions to be analyzed, review their existing information, collect fresh data from primary sources, developing their job description, developing job specification, and prepare a report for the submission for report HR manager. All these things are the process of job analysis. Next is the techniques of job analysis. The techniques is, now how do we imply that? How do we ensure that? So by having observation method, interview method, all these methods that you're utilizing, observation methods, continuously observing their activities and then understanding, yes, this is their daily duties, interviewing them, understanding what they do in their daily thing, questionnaire is prepared. I think we all prepare questionnaires, for our project. So we know, because we'll be getting the first-hand information, and you have to keep the questions short. It should not be calculative. It should not have a lot of data calculation process. Dairy method, technical conference method. So the next is job focus techniques. In this job focus techniques, you're concentrating on identifying the goals, identifying the tasks, analyzing the tasks, and then comprising of the actual standards of your job. That is the job focus techniques. And then you are analyzing their, basically you're evaluating their jobs, which is helpful in their succession planning, right? So if you're focused on this particular job focus, it is definitely helpful for their future building of jobs. That is the Hay plan as well. The Hay plan is again very important because it is similar to the managerial position basically. So it talks about on the aspects of it helps us to describe on the aspects of how does the position of fit with the organization, what is the general composition of supporting staff in the organization, what is the nature of the problem solving knowledge. So all these things is the Hay plan approach. And then we have personal behavioral focus techniques where you'll be learning where they focus on the pack items, that is the job context, characteristics, uses, importance, and the review background of it. Next, we come to the job design. Now, how do we design a job? Basically, what is a job design? It is a process of organizing a job, organizing your work to a group of tasks, depending on the job analysis report. Basically, depending on the report, you make a group of tasks. So what is the objective of it? You are able to adjust people and attract employees in that particular genre. You are able to provide them job satisfaction, and you are able to meet the requirements of the organization as well. So what is the method? Like, how do we have this? Is defining their work hours, defining their process, defining the work overhead, and checking their workload, and then ensuring the tasks, and then ensuring the employees do not remain isolated. Then you have job characteristics model. Basically, this is the job characteristics model where you have 4 job characteristics, critical psychological states, outcomes of it. Then how do we prepare job description and job specification? Job description is where you're able to describe in a written statement, basically what their purpose is, what is their scope, what is the responsibility. So what does basically the job description do? It provides these things, which is very, very important. That is the title, the key responsibilities and duties in that title. In that title, he's the, accountant, or he's a junior associate of something. What are his responsibilities? What is the relationship? What is the work schedule? What are the competencies? What is the work experience that is needed for that work? What are the equipments that he needs to use, compensation, and the other details, that is the designing, and basically what is the reservation clause that is there in that particular job. What is job specification is the satisfactory performance that you get, right? The purpose of job satisfaction is it helps the recruiting team of an organization to inform and attract applicants for the job, and it helps to select selection team in evaluating and selecting the most appropriate candidate for a particular job. That is, in job specification, we see these characteristics, that is qualification, experience, skills, physical abilities, personal attributes, competencies, any preferred achievements, all these things. Now coming to the next topic, that is called as de-jobbing. De-jobbing is basically boarding of the responsibilities of a company's jobs and encouraging employees not to limit themselves to what's on their job description. So when an organization or industry shifts away from formal job descriptions to some other arrangements to get their work done. So the techniques is the flatter organizations where you have horizontal structure, which is bigger, and broad breadth and deep depth of responsibilities. You have work teams, boundaryless organization, and then comes the re-engineering part where you concentrate. Like for example, I've given you Philips Software Center, the employees have all the comforts in the world, a variety of cuisines, the gymnasium, the doctor counselor, the dietitian. So it is a whole new world for a work, study, and rest. So the employees are so happy with their office that the company had to come out with an order stating that nobody would stay in the office after 9 without sufficient reasons. So this is, all these specifications, if it has been contributed well, it has been analyzed well, and this is what utmost satisfaction that you get in the job. Next, you have job enlargement and job enrichment. So basically, job enlargement is the expansion of the job. Expanding in terms of repairing, controlling, rectifying your own mistakes, right? And job enrichment is, where you're emphasize the idea of job enrichment is by adding your achievements, you're motivating personal, such as opportunities, achievement, recognition, responsibilities, and all those things. So basically, the last one is, what is HRP? Now, HRP is the process of ensuring right number and right kind of employees in the right place at the right time with effectively and efficiently completing those tasks that help the organization achieve their goals. So what is the process of it? The process is, you need to set your objectives. You need to have a appropriate manpower. You have to have identification of where there are gaps that is there. You have to plan the training and employment well, and implementation and evaluating. And then you have to plan for organizational growth cycles, trade unions, environmental uncertainties, time period, giving utmost information, government policies, business cycles, national levels, organizational levels, department levels. So all these things make an effective HRP. So in order to make effective HRP, you have to periodically plan all these viable information, operation part, proper organization part in the organization. Right, with this we finished 4 units of block 1. Tomorrow we will be finishing block 2. Right, block 2 of 4 units. All right. Okay, Ma, I'm ending the class. Thank you.